Hello, I'm Sally Sears, and you're in for a treat. I'm in Blue Ridge, Georgia, right at the top of the state, where North Carolina sort of shakes hands with Tennessee, and I've come up here to listen to one of the greatest treasures of the English-speaking world. His name is Fred Craddock, and he spent a lifetime preaching and teaching, but now you're about to hear some of the stories that he doesn't usually tell in church.
I'm Fred Craddock. This is Steve Darsey.
Stephen Darsey is a musician, a collector of Southern folk songs, and a longtime partner of Fred Craddock.
I have a mason jar on my back porch where I collect words. When the jar fills, I give some of them away. The ones I've gotten during this dry spell, though, are some favorites of mine. I don't know if I want to share them or not. Salad. Pullet. You know what a pullet is? Yeah, sure you do. Scotch. No, not that kind of scotch. Scotch is a stick or a brick or a rock that you use to keep your wagon from rolling back down the hill. You scotch it. You put a scotch under there. Galluses. I picked up galluses. It's almost not heard anymore. Sty, like a pig sty, not sty on the eye, but pig sty. A lot of good words. I like to share them, but I do it just orally. I don't let anybody possess them, but I would if you weren't so careless. But there's a lot of carelessness in talking up here. It bothers me a great deal. For instance, the other day, a fellow told me he worked in Marietta, and he drove back and forth. Now, he doesn't drive back and forth. He drives forth and back. If you're up here and you drive back and forth, you'll never be at work. Now, it comes from an expression from people in the rocking chair, which is the native posture of people in this area. Rocking chair. Now, in a rocking chair, you rock back and forth. But you can't move that over then to other things like walking and riding and... See, that's the reason I don't share the words. People get confused about being finished and being done. When a cook is cooking a piece of meat, the meat gets done, but the cook is finished. But somebody says to the cook, "Are you done?" Well, not... Surely you're not done. Do you get my drift? I have these words in a mason jar on the back porch, and if you want to come by and play with a few of them and say them, if you pronounce them correctly and use them correctly in a sentence, I may give you one. I noticed one word I've had in the jar for a long time is in one of Steve's songs tonight, the song of the Chattahoochee. And it has a wonderful old word in it called fain, F-A-I-N. You listen for that. Sooner or later, Steve's going to sing it for us. Maybe now. Who knows?
Sidney Lanier, Fred mentioned, great Georgia poet, lived through the Civil War, where he contracted tuberculosis and died at an early age of 39. One of the great poets of America. He wrote The Marshes of Glen, perhaps his most famous poem. His next most famous is Song of the Chattahoochee, which he wrote in 1877. And it personifies the river, but it also teaches us a moral lesson, and that is to honor duty. And I wrote this song in 2002, and it does indeed use the word fain and a lot of other words, and I'll do my best to pronounce them clearly, but I invite you to try to listen to see if you can follow that genius and the meaning that he saw in nature. Out of the hills of Habersham, down the valleys of Hor, I hurry amain to reach the plain, run the rapid and leap the fall, splitteth the rock and together again. Accept my bed or narrow or wide, and flee from folly on every side. With a lover's pain to attain the plain, far from the hills of Habersham, far from the valleys of Hall. All down the hills of Habersham, all through the valleys of Hall, the rushes cried, abide, abide. The willful water weeds held me thaw, the laving laurel turned my tide. The ferns and the fondling grass said stay, the dewberry dipped for the work delay, and the little reeds cried, abide, abide, here in the hills of Habersham, here in the valleys of Hall. High o'er the hills of Habersham, veiling the valleys of Hall, the hickory told me manifold fair tales of shade. The poplar tall wrought me her shadowy self to hold. The chestnut, the oak, the walnut, the pine, overleaning with flickering meaning and sign, said, pass not so cold these manifold deep shades of the hills of Habersham, these glades of the valleys of Hall. And oft in the hills of Habersham, and oft in the valleys of Hall, the quartzstone shone and the smooth brook stone did bar me a passage with friendly brawl, and many a luminous jewel lone. Crystals clear o'er cloud with mist, ruby garnet and amethyst, made lures with the lights of streaming stone, in the clefts of the hills of Habersham, in the beds of the valleys of Hall. But oh, not the hills of Habersham, and oh, not the valleys of Hall, avail. I am fain to water the plain, downward the voices of duty call, downward to toil and to mix with the main. The dry fields yearn and the mills are to turn, and a myriad flowers mortally yearn, and the lordly main from beyond the plain calls o'er the hills of Habersham, calls o'er the valleys of Hall.